realization that God was one and not the idols that his father was making, that his people were worshiping. And he rejected them, and God gave him revelation, made him a prophet, protected him, and made him the father of generations of prophets to come, Prophet Abraham. These verses, according to most scholars, are to be taken as they obviously indicate. That as a young man, he sought God. His people were worshiping idols, and he felt God had to be beyond these idols. So he went to seek that which was greater, which seemed to be beyond all this. And what came to him first were stars. And there were people who worshipped the stars. The stars out at night, vast, the sky and the stars, something awesome. However, when he reflected on it, on the setting, because when the night ends, the stars set, are no longer visible. So he reflects that this really could not be God. Then he reflected on the moon, which was bigger, brighter. But again, when the night ends, the moon also sets. Finish. So, leaving that, perhaps the brightest and the greatest of all was the sun. So, he reflected on the sun being God. Could this be God? But again, the sun sets when the night begins. So, he concluded that these created beings, these were the greatest of the created beings, could not be God. So God had to be beyond all of this. So he left creation, worship of God within creation, towards God. And of course then God gave him revelation, guided him, and he knew prayer, etc., etc. But this was the search of Prophet Abraham. And this was a search left in the Quran for us to understand that the signs of God are everywhere. Allah says in the 41st chapter of the Quran, verse 53, "We will show them our signs in the furthest regions of the earth and in their souls until it becomes clear to them that this is the truth." The signs of God are there for every human being. Not only God shows man or makes him aware of God's presence, of God's the reality of God, that he exists, that there is a God within the heart and the soul of every individual. When God created man, he created them with that knowledge. But further within the creation itself, God shows people signs. And Prophet Abraham's search represents a process of what we call the process of elimination. If a person seeks God and starts to reflect, okay, the idols, no. Idols are unable to help themselves, even. These things cannot be God. If we go beyond the things that are by our own making into the creation itself, the greater things, and reflect on them intellectually, thinking about them logically, we can eliminate them one after the other from ever possibly being God. And we will end up with understanding that God has to be beyond this creation. This process is a process which every human being is capable of going through. And this is what Prophet Abraham's search represents. Not that he took the stars and he was there worshiping stars for a period of time, and so, no. But a process of elimination where he thought about, reflected on this idea, then rejected. Reflected, rejected. Reflected, rejected. He worked his way through the various possibilities of who could be God in this creation, till he concluded in the end, as he said to his people, "O my people, I am indeed free from your guilt of giving partners to Allah. Allah cannot be anything of his creation. For me, I have set my face firmly and truly towards him who created the heavens and earth, all that we see, the stars, the moon, the sun. And never shall I give partners to Allah. This is the conclusion that Prophet Abraham reached. Same thing for those who today are worshipping human beings. If they reflect on it, they know themselves that they cannot be God. Me as a man, can I ever be God? No. Why? Because I'm created. I'm in need of a creator. So to say that God became a man is to say that he became his creation, in need of a creator. No. This is illogical. It is against any sort of reason. God is the creator. He is the one who created all. He is not his creation. So any one of us can come to that realization if we just use the intellect which God has given us, the intelligence, and work our way through logically through all of the various things that people claim to be God. We will end up coming to the fact that God is not his creation. He is the creator and beyond his creation. With that, dear viewers, I'd like to thank you for being with us. As to our sister Fatima, the third question which you have here, we will have to answer that in our next segment. Thank you. I hope you all may write into us, me in particular, Dr. Bilal Phillips, Sharjah TV, in the Light of Islam, P.O. Box 111, Sharjah. And with that, I bid you all farewell. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.